Mazi NNAMDI KANU, Mazi Simon Ekpa. They are powerful leaders. And I pray to God Almighty to guide our current Prime Minister, Mazi NKERE, give him wisdom and strength to keep carrying on. Biafrans, we all know that today is our fundraising, and we all know the time, Biafra time, 7 p.m. Try and be there. You know, no matter what we are told, the most important is our funding. I mean here is Breji, Biafra Republic government in exile. Anyone who is not aligning with this government may be talking of something else and not for Biafra freedom and restoration. So I stand on the existing protocols. I have heard what my sister said, every detailed information he is giving us. You all know that Sheikh Tinubu never liked Igbos. Igbos, the 40 United States of Biafra, she doesn't like us right from time. And I don't know what gave her that impetus to talk to Biafrans, but I don't blame them. The Yorubas were meant from time by the British to support the Fulanis, because Fulanis are very minor in number. So the Yorubas have been, you know, strategized, put in place to support the Fulani, and they are doing it without minding how many people killed in their land. Now, we all know that America, turning to Africa, let me use the word Africa, in West Africa, Nigeria, as they are called, the zoo, is because of our testimonial by our PM, and the PM leading us on the 18th of September 2025 to Capitol. And after that, the President of America, the most powerful man on earth, he sent Senator Riley Moore. And he went. Despite the fact that Nigeria government have spent, they first of all paid 2.7 million and subsequently 9 million, making it 11.7 million. America never, you know, they never gave any cognizance of those amount of money they are spending. You see, any country that places money before its citizens is nobody you will be standing talking about. Nigeria does not value human life, especially when you are a Biafran, because this was what they did during the war.
Minister Betty, sorry for the interjection. They are still there. They've spent another $900,000 again, $900,000 again for a new lobbyist. In case maybe you missed that part as well.
No, I missed that part. Okay, I missed that part. All right. So even if they spend the whole billions in the world, 100 billion, will that replace the life of one innocent citizen in that country? First of all, they deny that it's not only Christians being killed. Even if you are killing a Muslim, does anyone deserve to die because you want to preach your religion or you want to spread it across? As my brother David said, these people are the only Islamic religion. They are the only ones that never stop spreading their gospel. They are the ones that never stop. So any Biafran sabotaging us, like all these breakaways, you are wasting your time, because you can never get the Islamic religious group in Nigeria to stop. This was what they did to Biafrans during the war. They lied to the world against Biafrans, and the whole world came and joined them and conquered Biafrans. They lied again. No victor, no vanquish. Let us continue. Let the 3 R's be applied. They never applied it till today. So we cannot be waiting for somebody that your enemy is detaining to come out from prison or to be directing you from the prison, which you all know that is impossible. It's impossible. What they are after is using your brothers, like all these breakaways. They are all working for Nigeria, whether you like it or not. They are using them to wage war against us. Because anybody that will detain somebody like NNAMDI KANU and allow somebody like Gumi and Malami, Pantami, Kashim Shetima to be walking the whole street, and even Tinubu, a Yoruba that went to join them, because right from time 1914 to any time, Yorubas have been made to support the Fulanis, and it's not hidden. So there is no amount of money they will pay to any lobbyist or any lobbying group that will make America to say that, oh, we do not value religious freedom anymore, or that human rights should be trampled upon because you want to preach your religion. We don't worry Muslims. We don't disturb them. But they are the ones always disturbing, killing our people, burning churches, killing priests, killing pastors, destroying innocent lives. So now that America is in Nigeria, is a plus to our quest for freedom. So if you love Biafra to come, if you really want Biafra to come, if you are not using Biafra to make, what is it called again? Content creating, come this evening and demonstrate it. Your willingness to see that Biafra comes. So Biafrans, we still have IOU. IOU loan, is it not better you give us the loan than going to build your house in Yoruba land or in Kaduna or Kano, and they will demolish it? Currently, they made a map of Nigeria or census or whatever they counted, and they said that Igbos are not part of them. Are we not going to rejoice about that? Because they already know that we have left them. They said that Igbos are not part of history in Nigeria. Of course, we are not. We never wanted it. They forced our forefathers to get merged and amalgamated. So, Biafrans, do not go to these people's platform. If you go there, don't allow anything they're telling you to sway you into believing something that is not right. We are Biafrans, and we are the endangered species. We are the Christians. There is no Muslim or Islamic religion in Biafra land. From Suka, where our boundary started, down to Akwa Ibom, down to Iguacha, back to Sapele or Wari, Edo, anywhere. We don't worship as Muslims. They should leave us alone. And if you are genuinely fighting for this freedom, please come and donate this evening. I don't want to take time or deviate from our sisters' topics, because I love to respect people's feelings, because it takes our time to research about all this and lecture all of us. I appreciate you, my sister, so much. You are very powerfully recognized in this, our freedom, and God will reward you, and many people, Toti Onyenyer, all of you, David, Love, my darling sister, Ben Oabo, James, 1 million, Veteran and Emeka Socrates, Nsi, and many of us here, Rage and Fury. I love you people so much, because you are all powerfully planted to do this work of Biafra. We are going home. Americans are not fools. You cannot bring billions to America trying to bribe them, because they're a very wealthy country. All they want, all they advocate for is peace and respect for human life. Thank you so much, and may God continue to bless each and every one of us here. And I say, please, join us 7 p.m. for the fundraising. Thank you all, and all hail Biafra. Thank you.
All hail Biafra, Mama. Thank you, our mother in the house, Honorable Minister Mama Betty Lolo. Thank you so much. King David, I will give you the mic very soon, please. Yeah, there is a message here in the Jumbotron. Please, Biafrans, click it and then spread the message for everyone to hear that there are scammers everywhere. Do not give them your money. And please, if you are just joining the space, kindly share the space. It is very important. David, just 1 second, please.
Thank you so much. First of all,
Just give me
he
1
who
minute,
wants
please.
to go to...
We are going to do wonders. I want you all to understand that we are in a very big battle. Battle for freedom is not for lily-livered people. It's not for kids. Battle for freedom, they throw bottles, rockets for people to get freedom. So freedom is not meant for people that are too emotional. It's not meant for people that somebody will talk this and talk that and they begin to shiver. No. I am born for Biafra to come. And I'm going to help NNAMDI KANU to get Biafra. Believe me. Go and mark today's date. I want to assure Biafrans, so long as you continue to stand on your freedom, I will be there for you. So long as you continue to maintain that you have a right to live, I, Samonekpa, will be there. Any day, anytime.
David, you have the mic, please.
Thank you so much, our sister, for playing that wonderful voice of our first Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekwanjoko. You know, Obatobie, he said it all. This freedom is not for lily-livered. You don't fight freedom with sentiment, and you can't be too emotional. But let me speak on what I wanted to say. You know, there's a saying that goes that he who wants to go to equity must go with what? Clean hands. Your hands must not be dirty. The Nigerian government wants to go to equity in America. Are they going with clean hands? The answer is no. Their hands is filled with blood. Even as they are going, there are living traces of the human blood on their way. So, are they going to succeed? It is not going to happen. Now, dear friends, we must be very grateful to Chukwu Okike Abiama. I'm very thankful to our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because our leader made us to understand that the Nigerian government, I'm trying to speak on the budget of the lobbying firm that our sister Tuto spoke about. Our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in the initial stage, he made us to understand that the Nigerian government earmarked $20 billion in order to fight against the Biafran Restoration Project. And you were wondering, the CNN, the Al Jazeera's of this world, the mainstream medias of this world, even the Zoo media, they were not carrying any news that are related to Biafra because of that money that was given to them in order to buy their silence. What it means is that if the $20 billion that was earmarked for free to fight against Biafra could not work, it did not work. They did not succeed. Even when they succeeded in kidnapping our leader, even when they succeeded in arresting our prime minister, it did not work. Okay? That $20 billion was useless. And now the Nigerian government, you know, when our leader said that, a lot of people said, oh, how do you know? What is the evidence? But our leader was speaking on a mandate that was given to him by Chukwu Okike Abiama. He said what he knows. Now, the people of Nigeria, now Biafrans, before your very eyes, that the American government wants to hold Nigerian government into account. Nigeria is releasing millions of dollars thousands and thousands of dollars in order to stop the American Congress, in order to stop the #1 citizen of the world from holding them into account. Now, it really boils down to the same thing our leader, NNAMDI KANU, said, that Nigerian government are spending huge sums of money in order to make sure that Biafra is not restored. What is the take home here, Biafrans, just like our sister said, is that Nigerian government are not ready to bring so-called, they are not ready for the solution that will make sure that the people that are killed in Nigeria, that the people that the Christian genocide or those who are displaced, they are not going to take action in order to remedy the situation. No, they rather prefer to spend more money in order to make sure that the atrocities that they are committing, they silence it. But you know the good thing? The good thing is that the world knows everything. No matter how Nigerian government try to cover it, the killings are there, the genocide are there, the use to lobby America, to lobby white, whatever. They did of our leader must surely come to pass. So, dear friends, join and fund your liberation, because this is the time for us to be free. Thank you so much. I just want to point that out, my sister.
Thank you, King David. My co-host, can I continue?
Right on, right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Dear friends, you see, we want to talk about the hypocrisy with Turkey after selling weapons, and they came out to condemn the killings that is happening. You know, I want to go through this before we go into the congressional hearing. I just want to talk about what happened with Turkey and Nigeria briefly. You see, they have Islamization network, and that is from Turkey to Pakistan and from Palestine to the D8. And on January 27, that is this year, I think barely 10 days ago, or 11 or so, we saw Tinubu that signed 9 agreements with Turkish president in Ankara. And the agreements included the military cooperation protocols, defense industry collaboration, and intelligence sharing arrangements. And the person that was there signing it with them was Bianca Ojukwu. She was there in Ankara, where they dragged her like a goat to be sold. You saw the video where they pulled her, and she was there smiling stupidly, smiling at a Fulani man that used cow urine to wash his hand and head, dragging her like a she-goat. And she doesn't even have stamina herself. She was so unstable, she would have fallen down. She was smiling because she has belittled herself to the level that she lacks dignity. I remember when they wanted to give her that appointment, our former prime minister told her, don't accept this appointment. Money is not your problem. Fame is not your problem. People spoke against it, but she went on, took the appointment. They promised her heaven and earth, and today they have rubbished her, because if you touch me like that in the public, I will slap you. It was very, very disgraceful. So she was there representing Nigeria, while Biafrans are systematically targeted and killed. So if we put aside the symbolic fall of a Tinubu, we need to just have a little understanding about this agreement. We had a space on this, I think, last week. So Turkey is now Nigeria's largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. The Turkish companies, as we speak, have invested 400 million US dollars. The Nigeria Air Force has purchased Turkish drones and a 6 attack T-129 helicopters. So this is not just comments as they claim. This is a military integration between Nigeria and Turkey. And now, immediately after this agreement, we have evidence, visual evidence that Turkish weapons are being deployed in Biafra land. How come? You see why I told you that when they say that they are coming to fight terrorism, that joining hands together with Nigeria to fight terrorism, I told you that terrorism in the context of Nigeria and Turkey is Biafra land. All of us Biafrans are categorized as terrorists in Nigerian context. So for us to see the evidence of Turkish weapon in Biafra land, it didn't take us by surprise, because the only terrorists that Turkey knows are the Biafrans. Okay? That was, I think, February 3rd, just a few days ago. Circulating, that image was circulating all over social media. And our defense also made a video on that. Turkish firearms in the hands of forces operating against our people. These are not just AK-47 from Eastern Europe. These are weapons that came through the agreement Nigeria signed with Turkey. And I don't really blame them. I blame Biafrans that are sitting on the fence, putting their leg in Brigi, putting one leg in a BCG, putting one hand in Rabu Fulani, and putting one other hand in DOS. I blame them. Because this money, these weapons were all purchased with our oil money. Yes, to kill Biafrans. And you could see that the former ambassador during the congressional hearing a few days ago, Ambassador Brambach, warned the US Congress about this. He said, and he specifically mentioned Turkey as one of the countries whose involvement in Nigeria's security environment could do what? Further complicate stability. Because these people know Turkey more than us. Further complicate stability. That is a diplomatic language. They have the intelligence. They know who Turkey is. They know who I call him Erdogan, the president of Turkey. They know who he is, and they know his aim and objective. They know the purpose of the alignment and all the 9 agreements they signed with Turkey and Nigeria. They know the content, and they know it is deadly. Yeah. So what it means is that Turkey will enable the oppression of Christians. And it is happening. The first port of call or the first port of execution was in Biafra land, with their name stamped on it. If you have not seen the video, go and look for it. It is there. Turkey will provide the tools for Islamic expansion in Biafra land. Turkey will not pressure Nigeria to protect minority, because Turkey itself crushes minority courts. They crush Armenians, they crush Assyrians, they crush Greeks. You see what is happening? So that Turkey we know under this Erdogan is not the secular Turkey state that we knew before. It is a new Ottoman project with explicit target, which is Islamist ambition. That is the target of this man. And Nigeria is aligning with it, not just economically, but militarily and intelligence-wise. They are colluding. And the 9 agreements included a media and communication MOU. Who signed it? Bianca Ojukwu was the one that signed this agreement, because she knows, they know very well that we are here in the media space to counter every narrative, false narrative from the from the Nigerian terrorist government. We are here to counter every false narrative from Okoma, because they are working for Nigeria. We are here to counter every false narrative from the Nigerian DOS and the Rabu Fulani. We are here to counter every false narrative from the Nigerian media itself, like the one that happened today. We have come out to say, no. This is the reason why Donald Trump called this woman, she's a pastor, she's this, she's that, because the Nigerian media will never focus on that. They want to carry the false narrative. So that is why we are here. And the person that signed that agreement is Bianca Ojukwu, so that she will now use her influence to suppress us, not knowing that she will be belittled in an open, that everybody saw it, being dragged like a she-goat. You see, they will not tell her, you know, you have to go and control your people, let them censor what information they want to pass up. But you know what? We are not under Bianca Ojukwu. Bianca Ojukwu is a Nigerian. And she will not succeed. They will use her because this department that she signed, this particular agreement, has no influence on us. We are here to deal with even her, Bianca Ojukwu. So she will fail and the Nigerian terrorist government will come after her because she will not be able to deliver. She is the one that propagated that fake information, that emotional information. Why? Because they have a target. Once they bring out this emotional scandal fundraising scheme, Biafras now, who are emotionally attached to Simon Ekpa and want his release today, tomorrow, will stop to donate money to Briggy. That is distraction. And Bianca Ojukwu is aware of it because she was the one that signed the document under Minister of State for Defense for our ex-Prime Minister to be jailed. That was the assignment they gave to her, and she executed it very well, perfectly well. So she has come back to control the narrative, and we are here to tell her that you came very late. They don't want us to tell the truth about the Christian persecution that is going on. You see what is happening? So this is a total warfare. And then you see Palestinian connection coming in. While all of this was happening, while the US Congress was calling Nigeria the deadliest place for Christians, what was Nigeria doing that same day, 4th of February? Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tuga, the same Tuga that returned from Turkey. That same Tuga hosted the Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdullah Abu, for high-level consultation. What are they discussing? And he said in his handle, he said, the meeting was to strengthen bilateral relations between Nigeria and the state of the Palestine. And to do what? Review. Consular, humanitarian, and regional issues of mutual concern. What is this mutual concern we are talking about here? Nothing more than Islamization. Coming to check where they have shot their arrows to, where it has landed. Did it penetrate Biafra land? Especially now that our defense came out and said we are here, the poison did not kill us. So they had to immediately organize meeting. Palestinians say, you don't know what you can do. Nigeria said, no, we need your help. Because for them to say, review, consular, what are you reviewing? And regional issues, which region? Palestinian is not in Africa. So which regional issue of mutual concern are they discussing? The only region that they can discuss, because of the fear of our defense, is Biafra region. Because they are not comfortable that our defense are out. So what is the aim of this alliance? While Christians are being massacred in Benue, while bombs are being found in churches in Abia State, old Abia State, and people are fleeing their villages in Ebonyi, the Nigerian government is prioritizing diplomatic relations with Palestine. They don't care. The Nigeria recognized the state of Palestine. You saw when Shetima said it in UN last time. And they've consistently voted for the Palestine at the UN nation because Palestine is a member of what? OIC and the D8. And we saw how they condemn Israel. We saw how they condemn United States of America. And Nigeria supply crude oil to Middle Eastern countries that fund Islamic movements globally. And if you go through research, you will see that Nigeria accounted for 9% of crude oil supply to Israel between 2023 and July 2024. And where is the oil coming from? From Biafra land. So they are supporting Palestine while it's, oil fuel conflict across the region. That is what is happening here. But it is deeper in reality because Nigeria's and Palestine solidarity is not about justice for oppressed people. No. Because if it were, Nigeria would care about oppressed Biafrans. They will care about oppressed middle belt Christians. They will care about oppressed minority within its own borders. But no, the reverse is the case. Their solidarity is about Islamic identity politics. That is why they had this meeting. positioning Nigeria as a champion of Muslim causes on the global stage. That is their aim and objective. And it comes at a cost. The cost is paid by Nigerian Christians. And when you're saying Nigerian Christians, those are Biafrans. You know what? Oh my God. The D8 organization is not only for economic cooperation. You know, out of the OIC members that there are 57, D8, they have carved out 8 countries to come and form what they call D8. As an economic alliance of 8 Islamic countries. We have the Bangladesh, we have the Egypt, we have Indonesia, we have Iran, we have Malaysia, we have Nigeria, we have Pakistan, we have Turkey. It was founded in 1967 by who? This Turkey, it was then the then Turkish Prime Minister Abakan. And what was the goal? The goal was to foster cooperation among major Muslim majority developing nations. So the combined population of these 8 countries is over 1.2 million people and 60% of all Muslims worldwide. So Nigeria is a founding member. And Nigeria has hosted D8 summits and ministerial meetings in Nigeria, and people are not asking questions. All the Christian senators are not asking questions. Even Nigerians themselves that are Christians are not asking questions. I don't know what is wrong with the people that are inside that contraption. Everything has been contracted, including their brains. Now, if you look at the pattern here, you see that, Nigerian-Turkey cooperation, Nigeria-Pakistan cooperation, Nigeria-Iran cooperation, all these people have signed cooperation between ending of last year and January this year. That is what is happening. They have stated clearly, peace instead of conflict. Oh, dialogue instead of confrontation, and cooperation instead of exploitation. Justice instead of double standard. But is that what they are practicing? The answer is no. Those are their principles, but they are not practicing. Very beautiful words, as you heard me say. If these are truly the values of the D8 members, why are Christians being killed in Nigeria with impunity and they are not saying anything? Why are Biafrans marginalized? Why are the minorities oppressed? These principles only apply within the Muslim world. That's it. They do not apply to Christians. They do not even apply to Biafrans. And Turkey, as we know as of today, keeps on oppressing Kurds and Christians, including Iran. So when they are talking about peace, they are not practicing peace. They are not. And remember that all of them are also members of the OIC with 57 members. And they describe themselves as the collective voice of the Muslim world, working to do what? To safeguard and protect the interests of Muslims worldwide. And Nigeria is a member. Nigeria is a member. Who took Nigeria Day? We have done program on this, so I will not go back there. Nigeria is a member of OIC. So when Christians are massacred in Nigeria, they are quiet. They don't want to say anything because they are protecting their aims and their objective. Because the OIC mandate is to protect Muslim, not non-Muslim. And Nigeria being a membership in the OIC, they have to, abide to this Islamic solidarity network that prioritize Muslim interests over Christian survival. That is why the killing have escalated. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Anybody telling you that Nigeria unity is not negotiable, tell the person that you are lying. That means you want Christians to be killed every day. How many hours? In less than, within 72 hours, how many Christians have been killed? More than 300 Christians have been killed. And what did we see that happen? We saw a message from Turkey. Oh. On that same date, Erdogan issued a statement. Oh, I've condemned the massacre. Oh, 162 Christians in Kwara. And his statement called it a tragic loss of innocent lives. I was like, for real? And expressed solidarity with Nigeria in fighting terrorism. Oh, God. What led to the death of these 162 Christians in Kwara State? I don't know. I want somebody to please help me. Is this not the state that they told them to denounce Nigeria and accept Sharia? Please, I need help. Is this not the state? Thank you so much, my co-host. So you could see that his message was a mockery. This is the Sharia that he wants to, implement in Nigeria. So for him to come out and say that he's condemning the massacre of 162 Christians in Kwara, this is a mockery. Very big mockery. Just 10 days earlier, Turkey and Nigeria signed 9 comprehensive agreements, including military cooperation. And Turkey has sold Turkish-made drones to Nigeria. Arms, light weapons, everything to Nigeria. We have evidence. Turkey sells weapons to Nigeria. Those Turkeys end up in weapons end up in the hands of forces targeting Biafrans and Christians. Then when Christians are massacred, Turkey issued a statement condemning the killings. This is business that they are doing. Turkey is playing both sides. They condemn terrorism publicly to maintain their image, but they arm the Nigerian state that enables the terrorism privately because it is profitable. It suits the agenda and the objective of OIC and the D8. After signing the agreement, what happens? Full military integration is what they went into. They signed the agreement on 27, then immediately weapons flow into Nigeria. The drones, the helicopters, the firearms, they arrive and some go to the Nigerian military camp. Weapons that are supposed to fight Boko Haram, unquote, mysteriously end up in the hands of Fulani militias. What are we talking about here? Equipment that they said is meant to counter terrorism get used up against Christians and Biafrans in Biafra land. And then the massacre happened. How many people were killed? More than 300 have been slaughtered. Because the Fulani bandits are well armed, well coordinated. They have shared intelligence with them, operating with impunity. While the Nigerian security forces, they stand there and allow it to happen. When they have finished slaughtering the people, they now came up. And the only thing Turkey could do was to issue condemnation. We condemn this terrorism. We stand with Nigeria. You see what is happening? And Nigeria continue to lobby while Turkey condemns the killing. Nigerian lobbying 10.6 million machine in Washington, D.C. to say there is no Christian genocide. So Turkey now says, oh, the killings are real, but keep selling weapons, eh? And Nigeria says, oh, the killings are exaggerated, but keep buying weapons. And the Christians are being killed every day. They can never ban Sharia. People have just been slaughtered because they refuse to accept Sharia. I am calling on the world, let Nigeria be divided. We are not stopping anyone from practicing their Sharia. But they should not impose it on non-Muslim. We don't want. We have our religion. They are not killing bed bugs. They are killing human beings. We know they cannot disband Hizbah. It is part of their religion. Let them go with it. We don't want to be part of it. We don't want, even the Miatiala, we don't want, because they made reference to it. In the US Congress, in what they call HRAS 860, he specifically called for this organization to be designated as entities of particular concern and sanction them. But as Nigeria arrested any Miatiala leader, the answer is no. Have they banned this organization? The answer is no. Gumi has come out to say Kwara State people must accept Sharia if they want peace to reign. Just imagine. So rude, so mean. No concern for the number of people that have been slaughtered. That is the statement from Gumi today. They should accept it if they want peace to reign. And Turkey is supporting this agenda. Because he has done it to the Turkey court people, it is working. And you could see the Nigerian government, they don't care. They are carrying out their campaign for 2027 in the midst of Christians and their citizens that are being killed by the terrorists. They push them aside. They are busy embezzling money, positioning themselves for 2027 election. If they finish killing the people who will vote for them, of course we know that there is no voting in Nigeria. The results have already been written out. I'm still waiting to see if Tinubu will bow to the pressure of the Sharia Council to remove the what is it called, INEC chairman, because they've told him to remove the INEC chairman. If not, they will not accept result. I am still waiting to see if he will bow. So you see, they can mobilize thousands for a rally, but they can mobilize to protect villagers from jihadists. So this tells you everything that is their own priority. Election matters to them more than any other thing. Sharia matters to them more than any other thing. Hizbah matters to them more than the lives of people that are killed every day. And what are we supposed to do as Biafrans? Are we not supposed to come together and fund? That is our target now. It will never end. This killing will never end. If we don't come together and fund our freedom and split ourselves, strike ourselves from this Nigerian contraption, the killings will never end. It continues. And they don't care. No matter what is happening, Nigeria don't care. I will leave my mic here before we go to the congressional hearing. I'm just trying to see how we can manage them. I don't know, my co-host, are you there before we go to the congressional hearing, or should we pass the mic?
Yeah, let's take one or two persons before we continue with the congressional hearing.
Okay.
Mazi and also Wamina Samonekwa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, Biafrans. My host, good afternoon, and or good evening from here. My co-host and Mazi Toti, greetings from here also. Mazi Onyeyere, one of Biafra land, I greet you. Imanaga Bora Fagiro Ronisi. How na mo eti Biafra land, mana mo when you go tenso. Ebe will co-host. Yeah, Ndewosa. All right, I can see my big mommy, Mommy Love. I greet you, Mommy. Good afternoon. Mazi King David, God bless you, sir. See you, Mommy Betty. God bless you also. Good afternoon or good evening from here. Beast of Biafra, Auntie Eunice, Erico. I greet each and every one of us that has been here.
1 million, you disappeared.
Exactly, my brother. I didn't disappear. It was the network. I tried several times to join, and you know, it always happens like that. But anyways, we are all together, you know. So thank you very much, our co-host for this topic. You know, trying to make our people to understand some certain things. You know, when we talk about this Takia and this their means of infiltrating or trying to, especially in the midst of progress, they always find a way, you know, to target the people who are trying to liberate themselves. So, but the main point here, what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to bring more awareness to our people, especially our Biafran people all over the world, to understand that in this particular time, that we should be able to articulate, you know, properly, because we are fighting for survival. We are not fighting for position. We are not fighting for relevance. No, we are fighting for our life. We are fighting for future, for hope. There is no hope without Biafra as a Biafran. That is the fact. There is no future without we restoring our land. There is no hope. So now, as it stands now, we can see the topic we have here, which says that the Nigerian total security failure has made Biafrans to be mentally tough. That is exactly the point that I expect. That is exactly the point I expect at least each and every one of us to be at this particular time. Mentally tough. Because seeing all these things that we are seeing, we do not need anybody to tell you. You do not need anybody to tell you that this is what you are supposed to do and this is where you are supposed to focus. That is the point. They have already failed. When we say Nigeria is a failed state, they have already failed for a very long time, not even now. So, and we have seen so many evidences, so many facts that they have been covering, even from you, not even being aware, but with the help of the Biafran government in exile and the international lobbies, this awareness has now gone, full blown, and to an extent that Nigeria has now become a country of a particular concern. So a country that has already been designated as a country of particular concern is a failed state. And what should that be as an advantage to we, the Biafran people? It should be an advantage to us for we to have more mental to understand that we have to fight and defend our land. We have to fight and defend our life. If not, Nigeria as a failed state, it will consume us. So that is the reason why we have to be mentally tough at this particular time and be focused. There are 101 evidence to prove to you that Nigeria is a failed state.
Mazino, so please, just 2 seconds, please. Sorry for the interjection.
Right.
Tutos, please check your back channel. You can go ahead. Tutos, check your back channel. You can go ahead, Mazino. So sorry for that.
Thank you very much. So you see, every day we keep coming up with different, topic that is really targeted at us, we the Biafran people, because I have said this several times that at this particular time we have so many advantage. It is very, very clear. But how I wish our people will understand and make very good use of this advantage we have now. It is our own. It is in our own advantage, despite the kidnapping of our leader. Despite not even only did it start from our leader NNAMDI KANU? Did it start from our prime minister? Those of you that are thinking that do you know how many of our brothers and sisters that have been kidnapped? Do we know how many of our brothers and sisters that have been taken away, that have been disappeared? Do we know how many of them? Do we know how many that have gone innocently? So when we see all these things, it should give us the morale. It should give us the mental toughness to continue to pursue our aim, because all these things that they are doing is just to target at us. It's just to weaken our strength. It's just to make sure that they terminate this future, this hope that we cannot even wait to see. So how can we allow ourselves to be distracted in the midst of progress, in the midst of success, in the midst of achieving our aim? How can we afford to be distracted by some few individuals? Biafrans, we have so many advantages at this particular time. The United States of America, they are not just speaking because they felt that there is something that prompts all these things that we are seeing today. And now we have seen that most of all these senators, all these congressmen, they are with Biafra government in exile, supporting what we are doing legitimately. What are we expected to do? We have to. We should follow due process and support our freedom. That is the only hope. That is the only way. The advantage that we have now today, Nigeria is being designated. So many sanctions are coming. So now the American government, the soldiers, they are in Nigeria now, but they are not in Biafra land, because they know exactly where the problem is. So why can't we use this advantage to make sure that we pursue and achieve what we want? That is the only way our leaders that you people claim that you love so much, that is the only way they will be released. That is the only way they will be free. Our brothers and sisters, they will be free. That is the only way. Even you yourself that think that you are free, that is the only way you will be free. So the advantage that we have now, it is very, very important that we do not lose our focus. We do not allow anything to distract us at this particular time. We have seen how Nigeria is running from one country to another, like the way they are running to Turkey today. All these things that they are doing, you see, they go to Turkey, they bring arms and all sorts of ammunition. At the end of the day, it all ends up in Biafran land. What are they targeting? What are they trying to do? If they succeed, if we do not do what we have to do, if we do not take the advantage that we have at this particular time, what would be our hope? What would be your fate? We have a government in exile. We have the de facto in the homeland. What are we doing? Why should we allow ourselves to be distracted at this time? Biafrans, the time is now. You all have to come up, come out from wherever you are. Join and support Biafran government in exile. Join and support Biafran government in exile. Those of you who are allowing yourself to be used somehow to infiltrate or sabotage, be warned. There is no way. There is no way. You can never succeed. That is the reason why. Go and ask those of them that have tried before. They have all disappeared. They have all faded away. But not that it's not as if that we have forgotten. They are all numbered as well. So if you like, allow yourself to be used. If you like, allow yourself to be used. So, but one thing is very, very certain is that none of you are going to succeed, because the hand of God is in what we are doing. Our leaders will be released. Everything that is happening today is according to the will of God. But we have to apply our wisdom. We have to apply our focus. We have to concentrate. We do not have to be distracted at this particular time. But I just want us to know that God is in control. He knows exactly what he is doing. He is giving each and every one of you a day of grace. A day of grace. And we should also remember that the more we are delaying our freedom, the more some of you are allowed yourself to be used, infiltrating or sabotaging, the more our brothers and sisters, they are suffering. The more they are burning their businesses. Nobody is speaking for them. It is only Biafra government in exile that is speaking for them. If anything, now they have locked our main market in Onitsha. It is only Biafra government in exile that is speaking for them. Today, if anything happens today, it's only Biafra government in exile that is speaking for each and every one of us. Why can't we see any reason for us to, focus and support this government that is speaking, that is making sure that the American government is concerned about the massacre, the genocide against Christians in Nigeria today? Why can't we open our eyes and see, since that criminal locked that is trying to lock on the Chairman market? Have there been in anywhere, even from the zoo media, or even from those other groups, or all these infiltrators groups, or those GOAT professors? Have you ever seen any of them show any concern? Have you ever seen any of them issue or make any statement concerning that? But instead, maybe whenever you see them talking about something, they will be gossiping. It is only gossiping, but they don't have anything doing. It is only the Biafra government in exile that is standing and supporting the people, making sure that our mandate is being heard internationally. So, Biafras, we have to open our eyes. We do not have to allow ourselves to be distracted at this time and make very good use of the advantage we have. There are so many advantages we have. We should not allow our leaders that they kidnapped. Nigerian government, they committed an international crime. They know whether they sentence him life imprisonment or they are just, it is just we that give them the time. If for all this while, if I wish we knew from the beginning, when our ex-prime minister was telling us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, we knew if we knew that he was kidnapped, when we knew that he was kidnapped, what should we have done? Somebody went to kidnap person and they are taking him to court, and Biafrans we're focused, we're giving them attention. We are listening, not until we decided to say, okay, we will sit at home. After 1 or 2 years later, we begin to sit at home because we see that these criminals, because I have not seen anywhere that somebody will go and kidnap somebody and you did not pay ransom. Then you expect that person to be released. Which ransom have we paid? They want you to sacrifice Biafra to drop our freedom. Then they will release him now. Have you dropped your freedom? So now, what is the other choice? The other choice is that for him to be released, since you don't want to drop your freedom, why don't you focus and pursue that freedom in every dimension, in everything? Why don't you focus? Because you know that when you get that freedom, in fact, when you get it on time, that's your leader. He will be released. But we lack this mental toughness. We lack this advantage. For a very long time, we have advantage. Right from the day Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, that was when we're supposed to begin to focus and begin to do what we're supposed to do. Just focus on our government. That was what we were expected to do, because this government is not just government that is doing something out of its own. This is a government that is doing things, according to law. A government that is telling you that you have the right to defend yourself. And some of you will not understand. When you know that Nigeria has failed in its security, Nigeria has a contraction, negotiates with Boko Haram. You have seen it broad daylight, and you have a government in exile. Don't you have a brains? Don't you have funds? Don't you have your brains to make research? Don't you understand the meaning of government in exile? Government in exile is not a group. It's not something that you will just come out and say. Government in exile, that you have seen evidences of them meeting great men and women that matters in the world. Because of our own sake, not because they are meeting them to snap picture or meeting them to have a handshake, discussing about Biafra, discussing about our freedom, making sure that Nigeria is being disseminated, making sure that Nigeria is being brought to book. The only government that is speaking as a whole. Is there anywhere in that zoo all this evil that is happening? Is there anywhere that you have heard it being reported? They kidnapped our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Simply, what was his? Because they are targeting you. They are targeting me. If they had this, when they kidnapped our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if everybody have gone to sleep, they have seen that. Do you think that he will still be there? Because they did not succeed. When they saw that they did not succeed, don't we have brains? Before they went to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they make sure they infiltrate everything, even everything that was set, for our freedom. But God, in His infinite mercy, He took charge, and we elevated to another stage that that took them unaware. They were very, very shocked, and they were in a very serious panic mood. Instead of us to open our eyes and see and make very good use of the advantage that we have, even before now, even then, some of you choose to sabotage. Some of you choose to be relevant at a time that we are fighting for survival. At a time, our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brutally kidnapped. Was brutally kidnapped and brought to the zoo. Instead of us to be focused, some of us choose to be listening to gossip. This is very, very bad. It is very, very sad. This is not exactly what we need. I am letting you know now today that they were targeting you and I. They could not succeed when they saw that the kidnapping of our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not eat any fruit. Instead, they were paying dearly. And what compelled that? It was Biafran government in exile, because the contraction understand the meaning of government in exile. Even though they came out and they tried to criticize the Biafran government in exile, they came to criticize our ex-prime minister. They called it so many names. They did a whole lot of things. But so many of you have seen today that Nigeria is a propaganda contraption. Nigeria, they cannot survive without lie. They cannot survive without deceit. They are takia. These people are a bunch of monsters. So, understanding that fact, we should have known that Biafran government in exile has come to stay and has come to deal with the Sioux. That was when we're supposed to focus more. But what happened? They now left our leader, NNAMDI KANU, who they kidnapped. The only thing that they will do is that small time they will deceive you people and say they are taking him to court. Then everybody now focus. We go there. Then the next thing, they will come out and say, now, no, it is a ex-prime minister. They are putting bounty. They will use this one. They will use that one. They did everything. To the extent, when they now find out that all those their criticism is not working, that even the more they criticize, the more the government gets more support. The more they criticize, the more the government elevates. What did they do? They put everything in place to make sure that they say, it is better we stop this man so that we'll be able to get these people. At the verge of our convention, 2024, they took him away. What happened? Over 517 Biafrans stormed Finland on the first day of arrival for that convention. It was a history that was made. That shows the resolute. That shows a very strong message then. But what happens? They didn't stop there. They went forward to infiltrate more. Even though we thought that we were even suffering from the one that we were complaining. Now it has become two, but we are still focused. I could remember that at the end of that convention, before we left, the few opportunity that we had to convene with my brothers and sisters, the words that the only thing that came from my mouth was that this time around, that the only thing that we need to do is funding. That was exactly what we agreed. That was exactly what we were supposed to have focused on. I said that as immediately as we are coming back, we need to just focus on funding. We need to focus on funding. That was my point. But anyway, let me just hold it on here, so that maybe someone else will come in. Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi. I think I have held the mic for a very long time now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi, also for your understanding. You know, our host still have one more topic for us. So when she's done, then we can open the mic for everyone for us to come in and contribute more from the ones that we've already done. Before I will bring in the host to the mic again. Best Biafra, are you there? Best Biafra. Unmute yourself. Best Biafra, are you there? All right, host, are you there? Tutels, are you there?
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
We have to refresh. We have to
love having
refresh.
you as a co-host.
We have to refresh.
You always have my back. On Nigeria. You know, the focus was on Nigeria. There was no witness there that did not make reference to Nigeria. But before we go there, let's just remind ourselves that the congressional hearing and the mentioning of the name Nigeria did not fall from the sky. It is because our lobbies are extremely effective. So I just want to spend like a few minutes and play this interview.
On the other side, Biafra-linked groups are also lobbying.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Sanctions, recognition.
Yes, but just try and increase the volume a little bit.
Yeah, that's the highest volume. I think later the volume will increase on its own.
Well, serious enough that you've got people like Ted Cruz, who is the conservative senator who chairs the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's a big supporter of the Biafra government in exile. He's a big supporter, actually, of the Somaliland region in East Africa. And Mike Pompeo, who was the former Secretary of State, and that was under Trump's first term. And Pompeo is a very devout evangelical Christian, and so is Cruz, and they're combining the two things. Where they're talking about the rights of the people of Southeast Nigeria, and also this issue again of protecting Christians. So yeah, they've got a lot of sway within the Republican Party, and a lot of this stuff, Charles, is about sentiment as much as anything else. It's often free from, shall we say, established facts and evidence. It's a sense that these are evangelical Christians who put that belief above all else. And the Biafran lobbyists have been extremely effective over probably 20 years, working through the religious right in the US, which brings together a lot of these evangelical groups, and they're big financiers of the Republican Party. And as the Republican Party has moved to the right, so have they. And they've become a big mobilizer of votes for the Republican parties. So there are people who are evangelical Christians who may not like the look of Donald Trump and his various comments about women and all the rest of it. But they bury that concern for the greater good, which they say is the man is for Christians, he's for evangelical Christians, and in that case, we're going to give him our support. So Trump, the evangelical base is absolutely critical of Trump, and that's, I think, it accounts for some of the success of the Biafra lobby in the US.
Well, that's a very illuminating assessment from you. And in that context, Patrick, I mean, is there a risk that fringe or poorly sourced claims could begin to shape US foreign policy towards Nigeria? So Nigeria's internal security crisis is no longer just a domestic issue. It's become a high-stakes battle for influence in Washington, according to the UK-based Africa Confidential, a respected newsletter that's built a global reputation for original reporting and analysis of key political and security developments across Africa. As competing narratives over violence and claims of a Christian genocide gain traction in the US, the Nigerian government and Biafran secessionist groups are now locked in an aggressive lobbying war.
We are locked in an aggressive lobbying war. Yes. Locked in an aggressive lobbying war. That is the section I want to go now. Because we are locked there. But guess what? The Biafrans are winning. While the Nigeria terrorist government keep on signing contract, I just said the contract now are 3 contracts. 3 good contracts that they have signed, not only DCI. Now, let's talk about the US congressional hearing that took place between 4th and 5th, depending on your time zone. And we are going to look at the witnesses and then the testimony by testimony, because what was said in that room validates everything Biafrans have been saying for years. And the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee had a joint hearing of the Subcommittee on Africa and a Subcommittee on the Western Hemisphere. And the title was Defending Religious Freedom Around the World. And we had multiple witnesses that testified, and congressional members were questioned and all that and all that. And the consensus was overwhelming, I would say. Nigeria is engaged in systematic persecution of Christians, and the US must act. So let's start from the witness. And I'll start from a Congressman Chris Smith, yes, who is the architect of this committee. And he's the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, and he has been the most relentless voice in Congress on Christian persecution in Nigeria for years. It did not just start yesterday. So he understands the game. So when people go and pay lobbyists huge amounts of dollars, the man was just like, what are these people doing? Something that he has witnessed firsthand. You cannot deceive him. So he introduced resolution calling for Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern in 2022 and again in 2025. And he said, she opened by framing religious freedom as America's first freedom and connected it to global persecution. And if you listen to what Patrick Smith said, that is where we drew our strength from, because that is the goal of Donald Trump. Now, when you listen to what Patrick said, Patrick did not mention any group. He did not mention any group that is doing what? Extremely effective. There was nothing like USB charger. There was nothing like a BCG, whatever you call them, the GOAT professors. There was nothing like DOS or whatever other group exists out there. He made reference to Biafra Republic government in exile, and he also made reference to Biafra Republic government lobbyists that are doing what? Extremely effective. So he knows exactly how effective we have been, that the other groups are just noisemakers. When they say they don't have money, they will fabricate stories to extort money from Biafrans. Create panic where there is no panic. Formulate news where there are no news. So the man said, more than 380 million Christians suffer high level of persecution and discrimination for their faith, according to Open Doors 2025 World Watch List. And then he turns specifically to Nigeria. I may not be able to go through all the witnesses because of time, but I will just focus on that one, those ones that are very, very paramount. He said, on the top of Nigeria, President Trump's country of particular concern designated in October was necessary. Yes, so long overdue and bold, because no other president have done that except Donald Trump. No other country have the boldness to designate Nigeria as CPC. Why? Because they are benefiting from Nigeria. They want us to continue to die while they keep on exploiting. So they don't want to dent their image and relationship with Nigeria. But the United States of America was bold enough to designate Nigeria as CPC. He said in his first administration, with the strong backing of his ambassador at large, Sam Brownback. I just love all the statement that Sam Brownback made that day. And he said, President Trump recognized that the mass killing by Boko Haram, ISIS, West African, and armed Fulani terrorists against Christians in the Middle Belt, which were clearly motivated by ethnic and religious animals, meant Nigeria met the criteria for a CPC designation. Now, if you notice the language there, he said Christians in the Middle Belt. And what again? Ethnic and religious animals. So this is not just terrorism. This is targeted violence against specific group. And now, who do you think he will now classify under this ethnic and religious animals? Biafrans. Because he has already singled out Middle Belt. So who are these other ethnic and religious animals? This has to do with Biafrans in our region, Biafra land. We are targeted. This is a reason you could find Turkey a weapon in Biafra land. Because Turkey have seen us to be terrorists. And Smith now have recognized that we are being killed, unquote, because they've labeled us terrorists. And they said, no, instead of them to send their troops to Biafra land, let us send them to the northern parts, where the terrorists are killing people. And he continued, he said, tragically and inexplicably, President Biden and Secretary Blinken took Nigeria off the list. This man can never forget this thing. Anytime they have a Congress hearing, he must make reference to this because it is still pending him till date. The number of people that have died within this period that Nigeria was removed from CPC. He said, effectively giving the Nigerian government a free pass for enabling religious violence. You see, why he can never forget making reference to this period of time. A lot has happened, giving Nigerian government a free pass for enabling religious violence. Thousands have died because of this single act that was done. And, he quoted the Genocide Watch calling Nigeria a killing field of defenseless Christians. Did he give his recommendation? Yes, he did. He emphasized that the CPC designation comes with 15 different policy tools, including sanctions and economic penalties. He said, now, I love this statement that this man did. Now that it is hot, now that it is very, very hot, something has to be done. He said, now, while the iron is hot, we must urge the government of Nigeria to protect the rights of persecuted Christians and non-radical Muslims. The CPC designation is a phenomenal first step. Built on statute, it is accompanied by 15 different policy tools that can and must be employed to improve the situation on ground. These policies are online. I'll try to see if I can bring in some, if time permits. If not, we'll leave it, maybe for another day. So for us now, you could see that when the chairman of the African subcommittee says Nigeria is a killing field and is pushing for the remaining 15 policy tools, including sanctions, that creates space. That creates space for our own advocacy. That is if we are ready. If we are ready. Because what we can say now is very clear that the US Congress agrees with us. Nigeria is oppressive and self-determination is the only solution. Whether those in the middle belt accept it or not, whether they want to die with Nigeria as we've seen it in the tweet, they are free to continue with Nigeria. We Biafrans do not want to continue to live with Nigeria. We are not forcing anyone to dissociate themselves from Nigeria. But we as Biafrans, we have taken our grounds that we are not going to continue to share the same country with Nigeria. Because why? We are not Muslim people. We don't want. Self-determination is the only solution and we have to live. Nothing like, let's see what Nigerian government will do. They will do nothing. More than 300 people were slaughtered within 72 hours. And everywhere is silent. Nobody is talking about it. Why were they slaughtered? Because they rejected Sharia. Why is everywhere silent? Because that is the target. That is the objective. You see what is happening? And we had a second witness. I love this man so much. Ambassador Sam Brankback, which says the deadliest place on earth is Nigeria to live as a Christian. He is the former US ambassador at large for international religious freedom under President Trump between 2018 and 2021. And is a former governor of Kansas, former US senator, and is a currently co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Summit. If I see this man, I would have hugged him because he was there giving out points about the genocide in Nigeria. So this is the testimony that should be on every Biafran lips if you are a Biafran. If anybody tells you stay in Nigeria, say no. Because this man, Brambach, was absolutely devastating. Nigeria is the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. That was his comment. And if anybody tells you to stay in Nigeria as a Biafran, tell the person that it is the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. Not one deadliest place, not among the most dangerous. No, it is the deadliest place to live as a Christian. A former US diplomat with access to classified intelligence testified before the Congress that Nigeria is the deadliest place on earth for Christians. Do you know what that means? He cannot just come out and say things that he doesn't have backup or verified information or fact. And he continued to say that early warning signs of a Muslim on Christian war are brewing across Africa, and Nigeria sits at the center of that danger. Nigeria sits at the center of this danger because Nigeria has become the killing field for Christians. Even to non-Muslims who refuse to accept Sharia, they slaughter them. Non-Muslims who do not want to accept jihadists, they slaughter them. So he said, persecuted faith communities are America's greatest allies in the spread of freedom. And are we persecuted? The answer is yes. So it means we fall under this category. When our Prime Minister tells you that Biafra is here, he's telling you what he knows. Because from the statement that this man made, we are automatically one of the allies, in fact, the main allies with America. Persecuted faith communities are what? America's greatest allies in the spread of freedom. That is why we've gathered here. And that protecting them is both a moral imperative and a strategic necessity. How will they protect us? It is only when me and you, when we are ready, then the protection will come. This is the same man, I said if I see him, I'll run and hug him. He was the one that gave this critical warning about foreign actors coming in. He was the one that connected something that we've been saying since we started this space. He raised concern about foreign involvement in Nigeria. Involvement from countries such as China, Russia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia in Nigeria's security environment could further complicate stability if not carefully monitored. Is it complicating? Yes. Did we find weapons of Turkey in Biafra land? Yes. Will we continue to find it? Yes. Because Nigeria is buying it every day. Nigeria is spreading their tentacle to all the members of OIC and D8. Because one of the objectives of OIC is wherever anyone threatens your sovereign integrity, that they will come together to fund you to make sure that you are not threatened, your sovereignty is not threatened. And it is playing out. But the question everybody should ask is, why are they still putting one leg in the United States to get weapons and to get help? And why? That shows you that the United States of America is number one. Because with all the members of OIC surrounding them, 57, they are not still confident in themselves. They still want to align themselves with US. When US lead, others will follow. They know that once US recognize us, Biafrans, that other nations will follow. So they are doing everything possible to blind America from recognizing Biafra. And do you think that will happen if we give them the chance to do so? That is the powerful nation that they are doing everything, spending millions to lobby against the work of our brigade, against the work of our lobbying firm. The same Turkey that signed 9 military cooperation agreement with Nigeria on January 27. The same Turkey whose weapons are showing up in Biafra land. The same Turkey that Congressman Smith had warned about. Brownback is telling Congress that Nigeria is aligning with authoritarian Islamic powers, which is Turkey. Turkey is number one. And this will make Christian persecution worse every day if it is not monitored. So he's warning about genocide. He warned that failure to act decisively could allow violence to escalate to something similar to what is seen in Iraq right now. So when you see this former US ambassador, calling Nigeria the deadliest place for Christians and warn about genocide, it is something that we should take seriously. That is assessment, a strategic one, based on intelligence. Not the one Choma Okama did without reading what was stipulated on the document of that amendment, citizenship amendment. She jumped out, and instilled fears in the minds of Biafrans that are so emotional. This one has taken time to study, gathered facts and intelligence to tell you this is what it is. So this validates everything we have been saying. We are not exaggerating. We are not, giving any false information out there. We are stating facts. And this is what Bianca Ojukwu had signed in agreement with Turkey to stop us from doing. And we said no. We had another beautiful witness, which is witness 3, Congressman Maria. Bipartisan support. She was there for that. And then she's a chairwoman of the Foreign House Affairs Subcommittee on the Western Hemisphere. But when she heard about Nigeria, she had to jump into it and did not just focus on the Western Hemisphere, like the Cuban, She jumped and said something about Nigeria. Is the daughter of the exiles who fled a communist in Cuba, former Emmy award-winning journalist. You could see her beautiful face. And, she co-headed the hearing, showing this is not just a Republican issue, Mbano. She emphasized that while her subcommittee focuses on the Western Hemispheres, this Nicaragua and Cuba and Venezuela, she fully supports the designation of Nigeria as a CPC, because there is no human being on earth that will hear about Nigerian genocide that will say, okay, I have nothing to contribute. She pointed to the violence in Nigeria by the Islamic group perpetrated against predominantly Christian communities, but also in some cases, moderate Muslim communities. And she gave her recommendation. She said she supports the full deployment of the 15 policy, just like what Smith said. And she co-sponsored HRES 860, which, what does it do? That commends President Trump for designating Nigeria CPC and calls for conditioning U.S. foreign assistance to Nigeria on immediate action to address religious freedom violation. And she demanded targeted sanction under global Magnitsky framework. Calls for placing Fulani ethnic militias and Mietiela group on the entities of particular concern list, which I said before I started this. So if you look at now, for us Biafrans, this woman fled communist in Cuba, and she understands authoritarian oppression, what it means, because she witnessed it. So when someone with that background says Nigerian persecution is comparable to the communist dictatorship, that carries a lot of weight. And her support for sanctions creates real leverage. So if US aid to Nigeria becomes conditional on protecting Christians, that will weaken the Nigerian state capacity to suppress us as Biafrans. That is, if we are ready to fund our freedom, or we want to believe on the lies by Choma Okoman and Orabe Fulani and all of them. Because you know what? The freedom is in our hands, not in the hands of our leaders in detention. They are also fighting for their freedom. So if you allow these people to confuse you, your name will be sorry. We will move ahead with you or without you. Biafra must come. I will not spend this time for nothing. It's not possible. My brothers and sisters here will not spend their time here for nothing speaking to you. It is not possible. We had another beautiful witness, Dr. Stephen. He's a former chairman of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. And he also testified in his private capacity. He described freedom of religion as being in a historic crisis worldwide. And guess what? He still identified Nigeria. He identified Syria. He identified Sudan as countries where weak governance and widespread insecurity have created dangerous conditions for religious communities. He made his point very, very clear. He was actually critical of the US response. And he said, let me read what he said. He said, if we are to take the International Religious Freedom Act as our measure, then the United States is not doing enough. We have been long on rhetoric and short on substance, consistency, and effectiveness. So what he did was to warn the administration that had relied on high-profile events, you understand, such as a one-off Tomahawk strike on Nigeria and social media declaration rather than sustained country-specific strategy. So if you look at now, what it really means for us right now, Biafrans, you see, Shiknik. The spelling is Hsneck. I don't know how to pronounce it more than that. You know, is essentially saying that Nigeria is bad, but the US response needs to be more comprehensive and sustained. This is not criticism of designating Nigeria. No, 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 no. It is a push for more action. You see, he wants what will be sustainable, a long-term systematic pressure on Nigeria. So he wants multilateral coordination where other countries now will work together. But guess what? The UK and the EU he's dreaming of, they cannot because they are benefiting from Nigeria. So he wants something that is sustainable, a sustained engagement, not just one, one off strike. He wants it to be continued. You see? So this creates space for us to push for permanent solution. And what is the permanent solution? There's divide Nigeria. He doesn't want a temporal military intervention. No, this man wants something that is sustainable and permanent, which is what we want, a sovereign state for Biafra. They should recognize us, and they will not recognize us when we fold our hands and sit there and say, oh, US recognize us. So it can never happen like that. There must be a contribution from our side. They must feel the weight from our side, and then they will act. There must be a force of attraction between both things, which is us and then the United States. Because right now, whether you like it or not, United States is the only country that have given us listening ears. And then we have the beautiful witness number 5, Congressman Raleigh Moore, a member of House of Foreign Affairs Committee and the African Subcommittee, leading the effort to produce a comprehensive report on President Trump. And I'm here to tell him, Raleigh Moore, we are not against anybody that wants to stay in Nigeria. Disintegration of Nigeria is the lasting solution. It is the lasting solution. The people that you are talking to are the wrong set of people. Now, one of them testified he has been making videos. Why did he run to US? This is a man that said he has buried 11 members of his family. So if the Middle Belt wants to continue to live under the canopy of Nigeria and under the territory of Nigeria, they are free to do so. We Biafrans, we have taken our stand. We want our own sovereign nation. We existed before. So the people that you are meeting are the wrong set of people. They cannot speak for Biafrans. So also, find some time and visit Biafra land and see things for yourself if you have visited the Middle Belt. What the Middle Belt are experiencing, we are also experiencing it 100-fold. So please include this in your reports. Yes, we are not against anyone who have decided to stay, but we have decided to leave. So he is going to prepare approximately 30 possible measures that the US would adopt. I have some, but there is no need to waste time. Let him prepare his report and then put together and submit. And he said publicly, our brothers and sisters in Christ are being persecuted and slaughtered in Nigeria simply for professing their faith in our Lord Jesus Christ. So he compared, international indifferences to Nigeria to the international indifferences to Rwanda in 1994, which was the genocide that killed 800,000 people in 100 days. Now Nigeria have started killing more than 300 people within 72 hours. So Moore is already creating a direct pipeline to President Trump, not through State Department, directly to the president. And he has to present 30 specific recommendations. And we are telling him, add the disintegration of Nigeria as number 1, because that is what will bring a lasting solution. Anybody telling you that if Nigeria split, that terrorists will have, more power to integrate and kill people, they are telling you lies. When we were not forced together, we all protected our different territories. We all protected our borders. When we return to who we were before the forceful amalgamation, each of the region will be able to protect their borders. Everybody will become a local police to guide what you have, because we have suffered a lot. So anybody telling you that this security will worsen when Nigeria split is not telling you the truth. The smaller we are, the better. You see, we had another witness number 6, Congressman Brian Mast from Florida. And he said, he was very, very blunt. He said, this is not merely intercommunal violence or a resource conflict, as many claim. This is a targeted campaign of religious cleansing. This was so blunt in what he said. And he said, whether it is Boko Haram or Islamic State West Africa province or radicalized nomadic Fulani militants, the objective is to drive Christians out of their ancestral lands in the Middle Belt and impose a radical Islamic ideology. This one spoke like Donald Trump. He did not mean his word at all. He gave it the way it is. That this is the target. To drive Christians out of their ancestral lands in the Middle Belt and impose a radical Islamic ideology. You see? The chairman of the House of Foreign Affairs Commission, this is the most powerful foreign policy position in the House, is issuing the term religious cleansing. That is the term he's using. So this is not a fringe position. No, this is the mainstream congressional consensus. And when the mainstream says religious cleansing, hey, the pathway to self-determination becomes morally and legally what? Defensible. He called it what it is. And they have data to this. They have seen the number of people and they presented this data to them. And they still insisted on the 15 policy tools, which has to do with economic sanctions that are going to restrict the trade deals and investment and block Nigerian government access to US financial markets. It has already started blocking all the loan from World Bank and the rest. This will weaken Nigerian state capacity to suppress us, even though we know they will still get this money from OIC members. Diplomatic pressure will also be there. Is one of the 15 policies. Security cooperation restriction will be there. Because of time, I don't want to go into detail. We can, research on this and understand what is happening. Visa ban is already there. They will begin to freeze their assets. Congressman Smith is hammering on this. Maria hammered on this. And Brian hammered on this. They should implement the 15 policy immediately. Immediately. So congressional hearing is not the end. It is the beginning. So we Biafrans must come together and make sure we fund our freedom. Very important. We must come together. If not, they will leave us behind. We must have this mental toughness. Very important, because we have declared it, we have displayed it. We did it last week. Soludo could not do anything. We stood our grounds. Biafra stood their grounds. Because of the mental toughness that Nigeria has created, artificial situation for us, insecurity for us, that has made us to have this mental toughness. Upon the threatening from Soludo to demolish 10,000 shops, if the traders failed to open their shop on Monday, what did they do? 99% compliant was there across Anambra State. You understand? Thousands of traders choose solidarity over their shops. They choose principle over paychecks. Because they understood very well, if we submit to economic intimidation today, there will be no limit to future demands. Today, it's open on Monday. Tomorrow, it is vote for my candidate. Day after day, they will tell him denounce Biafra. So they understood the technique. They understood the template Soludo came with. And they maintained their ground, mentally tough. Better to stand now than kneel forever. Even when Nigerian media tried to manufacture propaganda with stage video, some part they show rain was falling, some part they show it was a dry land. I was like, in the same market, two different environments, rainy environment and a dry land. They claim sitting at home was a failure. What did our Biafrans do? They documented the real scenario. They showed live video that they are sitting at home, their shops were closed. This is mental toughness. ability to resist despite the cost, and the clarity to see through propaganda. My people that Okoma has confused to go and donate money. When will you see through propaganda? You are not mentally tough. The wind will come and blow you away. Tomorrow you hear this one. Next tomorrow you jump to Obi. Next tomorrow you jump to Kwankwaso. Next tomorrow you jump to Alex. Next tomorrow you jump to Ngozi Rabueze. What are you jumping up and down? Stay one place. Let the thunder see where to strike. Stay one place. Stop confusing the thunder. You see, I don't want to talk too much. Let me stop here and give the mic. So thank you so much for listening, because if I want to continue, we may not end today. We need to pass the mic. My co-host, are you there? So please, if you are just joining the space, kindly share the space, because
Yes, I'm supposed. Yeah.
thank you so much.
How many minutes do we have left? Because the fundraising will be starting in a few minutes time. I think 7 p.m. Biafran time, right?
Yeah, we have 45 minutes. We'll end it 6:30 Biafra time. So we have 45 minutes. I'm not talking again.
All right. No, let's just give people on the speaker section
Okay, we're
Okay.
gonna
a few minutes
refresh. We're
to
gonna
make their
refresh.
own submissions.